Megami Tensei's massive library has something for just about everyone, from brutal dungeon crawlers and dark philosophical dilemmas to colorful hybrids that break the mold, but figuring out where to start can be a nightmare. With Atlus pumping out sequels, remakes, and spin-offs like rabbits during mating season, it's no surprise that some players get lost before they even begin. But luckily, you've got me, a self-proclaimed Megami Tensei novice, here to break down 5 games that I think are the best starting points for beginners. Keep in mind this isn't a deep dive, just a quick spoiler-free overview. For more detailed reviews and rankings, check out my Aligning Megami Tensei series. And of course, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. With that shameless plug out of the way, let's get into the recommendations. If you've already done some research, chances are both Shin Megami Tensei and Persona have popped up a lot. And for good reason. These two series are the pillars holding up the entire franchise. However, one of the biggest questions that new players ask is what sets Shin Megami Tensei and Persona apart from each other. While both series share demons or persona, fusion mechanics, and turn-based combat, their tone and structure are completely different. Shin Megami Tensei tends to be darker and more focused on apocalyptic stories and player choice, with a heavy emphasis on atmosphere, philosophical themes, and tough moral decisions. Persona, on the other hand, leans into social sim elements, relationship building, and calendar-based structure that grounds everything in a day-to-day life. And while there's a lot that sets these two apart, at the end of the day, they're still cut from the same cloth, packed with some heavy-hitting titles that are great entry points depending on what kind of experience you're after. So if you're drawn to the more personal, character-driven narratives with stylish presentation, Persona might feel more welcoming. But if you're looking for something with a little more weight that's more tactical and with world-shaping decisions, Shin Megami Tensei might be your best bet. If you're leaning toward the darker, more strategic side, Shin Megami Tensei 4 on the 3DS is a solid starting point, bringing a nice balance with old-school callbacks and modern flexibility, and capturing the series' core themes with gameplay that's challenging yet accessible thanks to clear tutorials and steady pacing. Its early difficulty may catch new players off guard, but that's part of the charm of Shin Megami Tensei. You're likely to hit a wall or two pretty early on, encouraging you to experiment, adjust your strategy, and really engage with all the tools and mechanics from the start. While combat is quick and rewarding, emphasizing exploiting enemy weaknesses while punishing mistakes, demon negotiation and fusion are just as an essential part to the game, not only for building your party, but for taking on new challenges as they come, making party management feel just as strategic as the battles themselves. What really sets Shin Megami Tensei 4 apart is its app system, letting you tailor your experience by unlocking features that fit your preferred playstyle, thus making the learning curves feel natural and engaging, with combat and its early challenges for the most part also remaining fairly balanced. Though there is one flaw that might trip up new players, it's nothing that ruins the experience. On the other end of things, its narrative nods to both Shin Megami Tensei 1 and 2, yet still maintains its own identity, blending the best of both worlds, and being a perfect match for players wanting hints of older Megaten with a modern touch. Set in the medieval European-style kingdom of Mikado, you play as Flynn, a samurai sworn to protect the city from demons and outside threats. But the story flips when black magic spreads throughout the kingdom, leading you to discover the apocalyptic ruins of Tokyo, shifting things into a deeper conflict of beliefs and morals. This intensity is supported by the game's strong characters, engaging dialogue, meaningful choices, and animated scenes that keep you hooked from start to finish, building one of the more well-rounded Megaten narratives in my opinion. All of this together for me not only makes Shin Megami Tensei 4 stand out as a great entry game, but also one of the best games in the entire series. It was also my very first Megaten game, so obviously that must mean something given my channel mainly focuses on Megaten. That said, being a 3DS exclusive might make it tough to access, unless you already own a 3DS or are open to emulation. So if you're after something more current and easy to get a hold of, Shin Megami Tensei 5 is your best bet. It's available on modern consoles and PC, making it the most accessible Shin Megami Tensei title right now. Originally launched in 2021 for the Nintendo Switch, Shin Megami Tensei 5 made a strong impression with its stylish visuals, strategic combat, and a huge atmospheric overworld. Its enhanced release, Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, is the version Atlus clearly wanted to release from the start, with better pacing, smoother difficulty, a new story path, and far more content. And the game also looks absolutely incredible, being the true definitive edition of the game, and the one I suggest you pick up. You play as a high school student who stumbles into a demon-infested wasteland called the Netherworld. After fusing with a mysterious being, you become a Nahobino, a powerful, forbidden entity getting caught in a massive conflict between angels and demons. Unlike Shin Megami Tensei 4's dual-world setting, Shin Megami Tensei 5 leans solely into a post-apocalyptic Tokyo environment, focusing more on atmospheric exploration and intense gameplay than deep character development. Gameplay-wise, this is Shin Megami Tensei at its best. A chef's kiss, or like finding an 11 chicken nugget in your 10-piece order. Its combat is one of the most refined in the entire series, using a press-turn system that rewards or punishes you based on your moves. Exposing an enemy's weakness or landing a critical hit, you get an extra turn. Miss or hit a resistance, you lose one, requiring a bit of thought going into your moves as the stakes can be high. The smooth combat animations and clean menu UI also help keep things fluid, while the party customization gives you the freedom to swap demons, tweak skills, and build a team that actually fits how you want to play the game. On top of that, the Magasui system lets you unleash powerful moves once it's been charged, adding another exciting and strategic layer to battles, especially in boss fights. Its exploration, though seemingly vast and empty, is extremely accessible and packed with a lot of things to do, with open areas replacing classic dungeons, giving you space to explore, find secrets, or take on side quests, while the demons you encounter during combat or just to talk to liven up the haunting atmosphere. And its soundtrack ties everything together, matching the vibes from every single scene and being one of the best in the entire series. If you're coming from Persona, this is probably the easiest mainline Shin Megami Tensei game to jump into. It still explores heavy philosophical themes, but with polished gameplay, modern presentation, and a player-friendly structure, making it easier to dive into than other entries, and without losing what makes the series so compelling in the first place. That said, if you're looking for something a bit lighter that balances story, character development, and combat, then Persona 4 is a fantastic gateway into Megami Tensei. Specifically, Persona 4 Golden. Its enhanced edition with added content and quality of life improvements, now also available on PC and modern consoles, making it accessible for all types of gamers to jump into. While it shares many core mechanics with Shin Megami Tensei, Persona 4 adds a strong focus on social simulation, offering a more personal, character-driven experience that shines in both narrative and combat. Compared to a game like Persona 5, another title often recommended for beginners but overrepresented, Persona 4 offers a smaller, cozier experience that still brings plenty for the player to dive into. Its story remains a strong focus, balanced well with social simulation, blending everyday life moments with dungeon exploration and mystery. Though social simulation may not be everyone's cup of tea, Persona 4 integrates it thoughtfully, balancing relationship building with the supernatural elements, while its calendar system creates a sense of urgency without creating lulls between the key events. Where I find Persona 4 to be more approachable compared to Shin Megami Tensei 4 or 5 is that while there are dark themes spread throughout the plot, a mix of humor and affection are found here as well, making it easier for players to connect and relate to the characters, additionally not only touching on the core pieces of its narrative, but bringing character development through their struggles. Its combat retains the same turn-based strategy of Shin Megami Tensei 4 and 5, but simplifies some mechanics for greater accessibility. Each character has a persona with unique skills, along with other tools to use in battle. You still focus on exploiting enemy weaknesses and managing party abilities, but the flow is smoother and less punishing. Though Shin Megami Tensei 5's combat may feel more refined overall, Persona 4 offers accessible mechanics that still deliver plenty of depth. And really, I find this game to strike the perfect balance between an engaging story with character-driven moments, with streamlined gameplay that still carries the identity of Megami Tensei, making it a perfect game for those looking for a complete package with a lighter approach. But Megami Tensei is more than just Shin Megami Tensei and Persona. There are several spin-offs that are worth exploring, and Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE is one of the most overlooked, being a lighter, faster-paced option that still carries core Megaten mechanics in a new direction. And for anyone looking for something more colorful and easy to pick up, it's a solid entry point. The game blends Fire Emblem's triangle system with turn-based combat and esque of other games that we've mentioned so far, creating a system that's both approachable and mechanically nearly flawless. At first glance, the idle themes might seem like a hard sell, and I get that, but it ends up working better than expected, as it leans into its pop aesthetic without losing gameplay depth, featuring solid combat design, some pretty quirky characters, and a lot of customization that keeps things interesting, resulting in it being not only one of the more upbeat games in the entire Megaten catalog, but a guilty pleasure of mine. It's a quirky entry that doesn't aim for the same philosophical layers as Shin Megami Tensei or the emotional complexity of Persona. Instead, it focuses on smaller, character-driven arcs set in a bright and vibrant version of the Japanese entertainment industry. And while it might be much lighter than what you'd expect from a normal Megaten game, it's still engaging in its own right. And despite its lighter tone and minimalistic story, Tokyo Mirage Sessions still delivers polished strategic gameplay that makes it a great option for newcomers. Like Persona 4 Golden, it includes social simulation elements, but here they're more streamlined. These interactions are mainly used to unlock new combat abilities or support tools rather than drive a deep narrative arc, and it acts as a smart way of giving the player progression without bogging down the story. Like the other entries, combat is where the game really delivers. You build combos through sessions, triggering follow-up attacks by hitting enemy weaknesses, and it's a system that feels fast and rewarding without being overwhelming. The Carnage crafting system adds another layer, letting you forge new weapons tied to Fire Emblem spirits, with each teaching new abilities and encouraging you to experiment a bit with skills and setups. And in my opinion, I'd love to see both a similar combat and weapons crafting system used in a future Persona title. The dungeons, while straightforward, are nicely designed around the themes in the entertainment and idle world, helping tie back to individual characters and giving the game a consistent sense of identity, also being the only time where I'll give the idle stuff a pass, working well enough to enhance the game's identity without getting in the way. Though there's not a ton of replay value here, it at least provides a solid experience that can be wrapped up rather quick, coming together to be a quirky, unappreciated gem that serves as a great starting point for those looking for something more manageable and bubbly. However, if you're looking for something with more strategic gameplay, but still want character-driven moments, Devil Survivor 2 is a great option. Originally released on the DS and later enhanced for the 3DS, it combines grid-based tactical movement with classic turn-based Megaten combat. It's one of the more strategic entries in the entire series, but still addicting and easy to get used to. It's also a solid pick for fans of Fire Emblem or Final Fantasy Tactics. Although Devil Survivor 1 has the stronger cast and story in my opinion, 2 is much easier to get into, bringing smoother mechanics, more balanced difficulty, and gameplay that's both rewarding and flexible for newcomers. You control 4 characters, each accompanied with 2 demons, navigating across a gridded map to take out the enemies on the field, and your party's positioning, turn order, and exploiting enemy weaknesses play a huge factor here. One of the game's standout features is skill cracking, a mechanic that lets you steal enemy abilities, encouraging strategic targeting and planning. Its difficulty is fairly manageable, but can spike during boss encounters, pushing you to really understand the systems. It rewards players who enjoy experimenting with party building, skill toggling, and battlefield control. The game features multiple endings, with the story unfolding over a week-long apocalyptic crisis in Japan. The clear time frame makes the pacing feel pretty tight, with the stakes still being high, though never overwhelming. While its social interactions through the Fate system bring a short, sweet, and simple way to spend time with the characters, revealing new information about them and improving combat abilities. Visually, the characters have a more vibrant, anime-inspired style compared to other Megaten titles, balancing accessibility though still touching on ethical dilemmas, loyalty, and personal growth in the face of catastrophe. Overall, Devil Survivor 2 is well suited for players who enjoy tactical gameplay or fans of grid-based RPGs, providing a strategic yet approachable entry into the Megami Tensei universe. Before wrapping up, I want to gloss over a few honorable mentions that may not be the best for beginners, but are worth checking out after giving a few of these games a go. With the first of these honorable mentions being Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey. In my opinion, Strange Journey represents the absolute peak of Megami Tensei. Though it's only available on the Nintendo DS or through its enhanced port Strange Journey Redux on the Nintendo DS, this is one of those rare entries that I think every Megami Tensei fan should experience at least once. It brings one of the most compelling premises in the series, with great combat, memorable characters, and some of the most meaningful alignment choices you'll find in any Shin Megami Tensei title. The atmosphere is oppressive in the best way, pulling you into its cold, mysterious Antarctic setting and never letting go. The only reason I wouldn't recommend it to beginners is due to some of the later dungeons, which can be brutal, even for me. There's some pretty extensive designs and the puzzle elements really test your patience and planning, but if you've already played a couple games in the franchise, then it becomes a more manageable challenge. For fans looking for a darker, more mature and thought-provoking entry, then Strange Journey is the absolute choice. Next up on the honorable mentions we have Soul Hackers. Originally released in the late 90s and later ported to the 3DS, Soul Hackers is a cyberpunk-like spin-off of the Devil Summoner series, with its setting being one of the key features that sets it apart, taking place in a futuristic city where the real world and the digital one are becoming a blur, and bringing a vibe that mixes old-school Shin Megami Tensei with a stylish hacker-themed edge. Most of the game's strengths lie in its dungeon crawling, slick presentation, especially for a game with roots in the Saturn era, and streamlined mechanics. Demon negotiation and fusion are also here, but not as time-consuming, and the pace is a bit faster than other Megaten games from this era. That said, the game does show its age in some areas. Though the dungeons are fun, the design can be bland and repetitive, and the difficulty spikes occasionally and feels uneven. Still, I find it to be a good introduction to classic Shin Megami Tensei mechanics in a more approachable package. If you're into early internet cyberpunk aesthetics and want something slightly off the beat, Soul Hackers is worth checking out, though you can skip Soul Hackers too. And that really sums it up. Whether it's the tactical depth of Devil Survivor 2, the modern scale of Shin Megami Tensei 5, or the cozy charm of Persona 4, there's a starting point in this series for nearly every kind of player. What makes Megami Tensei so special is just how many flavors it offers, with each game reflecting a different angle of the same core identity, and depending on what you value most, that's where your journey should begin. Hopefully this video helped you find your entry point, or maybe even sparked interest in trying something new. If you've already played a Megami Tensei game, let me know where you'd recommend new players to start. Also, share your first Megaten game down in the comments below. Like I mentioned, mine was Shin Megami Tensei 4. And if you're looking for more detailed reviews, then check out my Aligning Megami Tensei series by clicking the link on the screen, and I'll forever be at your service.